In this episode of New Jersey Living, we are making a return visit to Newark, New Jersey. If you've been following, you know that I've touched on at least 3, if not 4 different locations in Newark. This one, we're going to really hone in on the Lower Broadway section of Newark, which is on the southern end, specifically the southeastern end of Branch Brook Park. So we're going to really be able to take in some sights on this particular episode, because one of the iconic locations, not only in Newark, but in the state of New Jersey, even regionally and nationally, is the Cathedral Basilica of the Sacred Heart, located right in the boundary of Lower Broadway up against Branch Brook Park. Aesthetics of it, as we take a look, we're getting some footage here. It's just quite phenomenal. If you drive the neighborhood, or you can even see it from the roadway as you drive in, like from Jersey City into Newark, you can catch a sight of it there as well. This is one of the iconic locations, like I mentioned, not just Newark, but in the state of New Jersey. So it is actually the 5th largest cathedral in North America. So it's really ranking high up there as it pertains to some of these historic structures that were built by the Catholic Church. The interesting thing I found is that the construction began in 1899, concluded in 1954. So a 55-year span of construction went into this building. All around it, which is the community that we're going to focus on today, Lower Broadway. This is predominantly a multi-family home community, which is why it is such a hot investment target for those that are looking for some opportunity to buy something that may need some cosmetic touches, some of them maybe even a knockdown and rebuild. But because of that proximity to Branch Brook Park, because of the proximity relatively to downtown and Newark Penn Station, it makes it an ideal investment opportunity when we're talking about upside and long term. Because at the end of the day, in real estate, when you are investing, you are looking at a long-term return. So this is a location that gives you proximity to a lot of commute transit options, both bus and train, very close proximity to New York City, very close proximity to Branch Brook Park. And if you've seen some of my park footage when I featured Forest Hill, when the cherry blossoms are in bloom, it's an absolutely gorgeous park. Just a lovely, lovely place to visit, particularly in the spring. A couple other interesting facets about the cathedral is that it was pretty much inspired by Notre Dame in France. So a lot of this unique and intricate craftsmanship that went into the construction of this is modeled after Notre Dame. And the organ has 9,500 pipes, which makes it one of the largest in the world, which New Jersey has a bit of a claim to fame in that area, because between this organ and the cathedral, the organ in Ocean Grove and Neptune, and there's another boardwalk organ, Atlantic City. These are some of the largest in the country, right here in the state of New Jersey. So yes, we definitely have quite an inventory when it comes to organs. The cathedral also has 2 twin towers that reach 232 feet. Quite a historical event that took place at the cathedral was the visit of Pope John Paul II in 1995, visited to celebrate Mass in the cathedral. So this has, again, a lot of both religious and cultural and just geographic significance for the Newark community and the state of New Jersey. While the cathedral is one of the major highlights of the community in Lower Broadway, it is not the only one. So we're going to dive into that now as we get into why this is such a prime investment location for those on the hunt for long-term investment property. Let's dive into it now. My name is Corey Jones. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in the state of New Jersey, team leader of the New Jersey Living Group, and host of New Jersey Living, the podcast. My team operates under Coldwell Banker, and our goal is to provide 5-star content just like this to viewers like you that will reflect our 5-star Google ratings. So if you are looking to learn all things New Jersey, real estate, of course, places to dine, social events, iconic locations, this is the channel for you. So go ahead and click like, subscribe, notification bell, Stay tuned on some of the updated content we have coming your way on various neighborhoods throughout New Jersey. We primarily target both North and Central Jersey. And as I said, Central, I'm a subscriber to there being a Central Jersey. And many of these properties that we focus on are recent sales. You're going to take notice of that. If you are someone that's looking for more current or active inventory, definitely visit my website. The link is right here in the description. You're going to want to go and flip through some of the communities that I have already, some of the prime communities on the website, or there's even an option where you can pull up a property by either neighborhood or by address to get specifics on the active inventory. And by active inventory, unlike Zillow, unlike Redfin, some of these other sites, anything that is already accepted offer and attorney review is screened out. So that's a benefit for you by searching the site, and you can even set up your own custom search. For those of you that are in the hunt actively, right now, I have a buyer's guide. I want to flash up the QR code for that. So please do reference that site, pointers that are on that slide, and those that are international looking to learn a little bit more about New Jersey, there is the relocation guide. So I'll flash a QR for that as well. So we have options for those who are in the hunt locally, those that are moving in. By all means, you can reach out to me by my Calendly link or reach out to me by my cell phone or email address, all right here in the description. So with Newark we know is a location where there is heavy investment there because of two reasons primarily. One is inventory, size of inventory. I'm gonna flash up really quickly. The inventory of sales, this is just for the month of September. And right now at the time of recording, we are towards the end of September. Today's date is the 26th, so we only have a few more days left in the month. But take a look at the condo inventory that has sold during the month of September for Newark. 3. All right, compare that to some of the episodes if you've seen my Hoboken or maybe Jersey City, and Jersey City is specific to neighborhood specifically. You'll see that there is far more inventory that sells in those locations when it comes to condos than Newark. All right, so slide that out the way. Let's take a look now. Single family homes, 13 since September 1st to September 26th, right? So not a heavy volume of that at all. Now I'm gonna flash up the multifamily sales in Newark in this same time frame. We're talking 32, more than double single family, and you have to multiply by a factor of 10 in terms of condo. There is such a substantial inventory of multifamily homes in both Newark and some neighboring towns like East Orange and Irvington even. High volumes of multifamily homes. So that's one reason, is the size of the inventory. Second is price. There are still bargains to be had in locations like Newark. Was it the same as it was 5 years ago? No. And a lot of the surge that happened during that COVID timeframe when interest rates were very low, a lot of investors who at one point maybe did not have the desire or the focus on Newark, there was such an abundance of properties that were priced under $200,000 when we go back to say 2019, even to 2020, almost impossible now to find something under 200 that's not totally distressed or burnt down, that you're just not, just buying the land to rebuild on it. So there's been a lot of inventory to be had. That low interest rate time frame when we were in the COVID time frame led to a lot of purchase of a lot of these properties being revitalized, being renovated, some being knocked down, being built new, and people coming in to really take advantage of that low interest rate environment with relatively low prices to have an opportunity to live in for themselves, maybe for a year or two, rent out some other units, and then maybe eventually move on from it and rent the entire building out. So the inventory and the prices make it such a very attractive option. So in Lower Broadway, I selected specifically 4 properties that we're going to take a look at in this particular episode. So as we take in some of this footage, both the cathedral, taking in some footage, we're going to see some road footage, of course, and we're also going to take in footage of Lower Broadway, the community. We're going to focus on that lower southern end of Branch Brook Park. Our first feature on Forest Hill, which is more north of Lower Broadway. We focused on the northern section of Branch Brook Park, but we're going to focus more of our footage on the southern end in this particular episode. So let's go ahead and take a look at our first stop to view the first property. And before we get to our first stop, we'd be remiss not to dive into the big three. All right, so I get so excited to get into properties, and some of these episodes we are featuring other type of content, but I always include the big three when we are location specific. So big three, for those who have been watching all along, you know what it is. Those who are new, big three are the three items that drive demand in the New Jersey real estate market. Those three being, one of them is proximity to New York City, secondly, local train station, and third, school ratings. When there are check marks in all three of those, that tends to be a very, very high demand location, very competitive real estate market, and it reflects in the value, the market value of homes. For Newark, proximity, you're right there. I'm gonna just flash up a quick map from Branch Brook Park into Midtown Manhattan. All right, so this is a very, very easy, convenient commute for someone in this area that was driving into Midtown Manhattan. Check mark for proximity all day. We have multiple train options in Newark because you have, of course, Penn Station that has Amtrak, it has New Jersey NJ Transit, and it has the Path. In addition to those train options, there's the NLR, the Newark Light Rail System, totally separate from the light rail in Hudson, so not connected or associated at all. But this is a Newark light rail that runs more in the downtown region generally and will get you to Penn Station. So check mark absolutely for Newark in terms of local trains are there. And even if you're not in an area where there are trains, there is significant bus commute options throughout the entire city. All right, that will certainly get you downtown and to Penn Station very conveniently. School ratings. If you've been watching for some time, you know I defer to niche.com for the school rating component of the rating system, and it is a C+. Public schools is a C+ in Newark. I reserve a check mark for those that are A+, A-. There are definitely A+ options in the city of Newark. All right, and even in public schools, it doesn't have to be private, parochial, or charter. There are A charters, there are A parochial, there are A public options in the city. Obviously, the high school specifically, like science, for example, that's going to be a selective admission type of situation. And of course, if you were to attend St. Benedict's, for example, which is a parochial, that's something that you're going to pay tuition. And charters are certainly going to be a high demand to get into the ones that are the highest performing. So there are absolutely A options, high quality options of schools in the city. It's just not that it's available to anyone and everyone. All right, so not going to get a check mark there. So 2 out of 3 for Newark in terms of demand. So as we flash up a quick map of the Lower Broadway section of Newark, it's essentially just east of the lower portion of Branch Brook Park. As we look at the map, we can see where the Orange Street light rail station is, right there at the southern tip of the park. All right, so it's very much in walking distance for the neighborhood. The neighborhood, by and large, is just south of Bloomfield Avenue. As we get above Bloomfield Avenue, we're then at that point starting to get into Forest Hill. All right, so our general boundary line is going to be south of Bloomfield Ave and east of the park. And then that goes all the way over to Broadway, and Route 21 is kind of that boundary line that travels right along the Passaic River, north and south from Newark, all the way going up into Belleville and all of the towns that are north of Newark. So our first stop is at 16.5 MLK Boulevard, and this is a two families that were really kind of like a duplex, side by side. One was 16, the other 16.5, each of them having a 3-bedroom, 1 bath on the first and second floor, also having a basement. Both were pretty much renovation type of condition, reflecting in the price. So this property listed at $425, sold at $424, and you can see days on market. It was 77 days on market, so it took some time. So when properties do have a condition that certainly warrants an investor who is coming in to do really a lot of heavy lifting to get the property renovated or touched up and in a place where it's going to draw a certain type of rent roll. That's going to be on the market often a while, unless the price is just very, very attractive. Most people are trying to get the best they can out of these kind of properties, so they're not going to price it at $299 or $325. So it's priced at $425. Investors will sniff it out. They'll find it, which they did. Other option is $203K. So if you've seen some of these home HGTV style episodes where somebody fixes something up and they move into it, and then in this case, they will rent out the other unit, or maybe they have family that lives in the other unit. So this one went slightly below asking, really just 1,000 below, but you can see that it moved in roughly about a 2.5 month time frame. 3-bed, 1-bath, each unit, basement partially finished. Tax number is going to be very, very attractive in Newark. As you can see, $2,000 for 2023. That is pretty much throughout the entire city of Newark. There's such a significant savings when it comes to taxes from Newark to East Orange. So if you're looking from an investment standpoint, you're certainly more likely to lean Newark than over East Orange for the tax number alone. Let's take in a little more road footage, and I'll see you at the next stop. Our second stop is at 99 Parker Street, and this particular unit, different kind of layout. This is, again, a 2-family, one unit being 1 bedroom, 1 bath, the other unit being 3 bedroom, 3.5. I do recall having a client that actually moved in, not in this specific neighborhood, but more in the Roseville section, which is on the other side of the park, but lived in the 1 bedroom and rented out the 3 bedroom. So you can imagine the benefit of the rent roll in that kind of situation. So this property, the 3 bedroom had 3.5 baths. All right. The list price was $547, sold at $547. And again, this administrative days was 72. And sometimes it depends on if it was coming soon, or sometimes if a deal fell through and it was pulled off market, or if it was paused for whatever reason. But days on market is 92. So 3 months altogether on market. Now I'm looking at the description. It has back on market. So yes, this was pulled from market at some point in time and then went back to market. And for this one, you love to have parking if you can get it. Didn't have parking, but as we look at the interior features, this is a property that had been renovated on the inside. So we can see the hardwood floors. I believe they're hardwood, could be a higher end laminate. But the bathroom, the kitchen, these are reflections of more recent work that had been done in the house. And that seems to be a basement level that is also finished, right? So this is reflected in price point. So at mid 500, you can see what a mid 500 will look like in this given market. Again, on Parker Street, from a location standpoint, every property we're talking about, including this one right here in Parker, is going to be a comfortable walking distance to the park, and again, a reasonable walk over to the light rail station if you needed to get the light rail down to Penn Station to take a ride into the city. Parker is almost having the cathedrals almost in the backyard, just 1 block over. All right, so it's a site to be appreciated for sure. It may not pay out in a market value per se by having a cathedral next door to you almost, but it definitely, just driving through the neighborhood and seeing the cathedral is quite impressive. So let's take a few more shots of the area, and we are going to go to our third stop. Our third stop is 78 Garside Street. This property is 2 units, both 3 bedroom, 1 bath, unit on the second floor, bath and a half. Second floor units tend to give a little bit more square footage because the foyer space that's taken up at the first floor level is not impacting the upstairs unit usually. So there's a little bit more space that allows for either more closet space, maybe another bathroom. Not sure where it was located, but we know it had enough space to fit a half up there. Look at some of the photos here, and you can see definitely these are hardwood floors. Definitely there's been some upgrade done to the property, both kitchen and bathroom. Well conditioned property. This is just looking at one unit, however, so we're not necessarily seeing both. But this listed at $575, sold at $570. This one 24 days on market. Right, so moved very quickly. This one, tax number on this 2,747. All right, going back to that whole tax conversation. Parking did not have garage on this one. And another thing that I tend to look for as well is if any of these properties have central air. Central air is something that you do not find very commonly in Newark unless it's a newer building usually, or a full-scale gut renovation. So when you do find something that is an older property with central air, that also will reflect usually in both the price point and number of days on market. So if there's 2 units for each for heating and cooling, this one did. So again, it reflected number of days on market. Didn't go very high above ask, but there's no parking at the same time. Very well-conditioned building with central heating and cooling. Goes a long way. All right, so we'll get some last pieces of footage here before our end segment, and we'll see you at the final stop. Our final stop is 69 Stone Street. This was listed at $675. It's sold at $655. 20 days on market, and this one, year built, is 2002. It reflects it as we take a look at the photos, both of the exterior. You can see there's pretty extensive driveway in front, providing parking for residents of both units, depending on if the landlord offers that to both, or if you live there and you offer that to the tenant in the other unit. You can see bright, airy layouts here, recessed lighting, hardwood floors, relatively updated kitchens and bathrooms. Yeah, this is something that is a very far stretch from what we saw with the first listing that sold at $424. And parking, off-street parking, is available. Even if it's not a garage, it's something that is available. This has central air. It has 2 units for central air, so each unit has their own central air. 1 unit for forced hot air. So you don't commonly see this, that it's going to be 1 unit for heating 2 different units. So there's a possibility that 1 unit could have been just for, that 1 heating unit, that is, could have been just for 1 unit, and another could have had electric baseboard, or it could have even had, I didn't see mini splits in the photo, so I don't think that it would have been mini split. So there's a possibility, but it didn't list electric heat either. 3 bedroom, 2 bath is for the second floor unit, unit 1, and unit 2 was 2 bedroom, 1 bath, and the tax is reflective of more newer construction. This is $9,465, which is relatively high for Newark for sure. But again, listed at $675, sold at $655, 20 days on market. Did not last very long for a lot of the 2-family inventory. Went pretty quickly. So there are certainly new construction, and I want to say a good number of new construction options in Newark, where you'll have 3 bedroom, 2 full bath, a garage. It really comes down to location. What location, which neighborhood is it in? Neighborhood definitely matters. Even what block you're on in a given neighborhood definitely matters. Right, so there are those options that can range further up to 800, up to 9, into the 9s. It's not much $1 million inventory in Newark, but there are some upper scale options, and even in neighboring East Orange, there's some options as well. When it comes to your 6, 7, 800, it's a different scale of home. It's usually brand new construction at that point, offering the new amenities, offering parking, offering, again, those more contemporary touches when it comes to the overall design also. So not these boxy cut-off spaces that you often have in an older home that was built in the early 1900s or right around World War II. So this is just a taste of that one section, that one small community, which is the Lower Broadway section. It's not an expansive or very large area geographically, but this is one of those spots where there is definitely a worthy consideration that should be made from an investment standpoint as to where do I target for investment if I'm looking for a 2-family in Newark, or if I'm looking at something that I may even want to stay in for, a few years and then move on from it. This is definitely something to consider. So I want to thank everyone again for tuning in. Be sure to click like, subscribe, notification bell. Absolutely reach out to me if you have any questions or if you need any assistance in your journey. And even for homeowners, definitely reach out to me if you have not received a recent market analysis on your property. Whether you're trying to sell it or not, know what your value is. So remember to reference my relocation guide and first-time buyer guide for those who are on the buy side, and those who just need some assistance or need a few questions answered, book me on Calendly or just reach out directly. I'll be happy to help. So thanks again for joining me in this journey. Stay safe and stay tuned to New Jersey Living.